people don't understand that social media platforms cost money to build, right? In fact, in this process, we've raised a significant amount of capital. But when I tell you other platforms have been given 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x what we've done and have failed and not even provided any opportunity or anything for Black people to be able to have an opportunity to monetize and make money or even own. But own, the part about that is when I repeat the story, there's a story that you probably haven't heard me talk about before, but the early investors in Uber were a small group of people. It might have been like 15 people.
Okay.
They took $500,000 collectively and invested in Uber. The smallest investors of those platforms were people that put in $5,000.
That's what it is.
Okay, so
Same thing with Obama's campaign. Remember,
Yeah.
grassroots.
right.
So
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
The 5K that they put into Uber in 2010, when that company went public in 2019, that 5,000 was worth $24 million.
Oh yeah.
And my point is that if we know that Black culture, which is another reason why I built the app, we know that Black culture plus social media equals billion-dollar corporation. We can say that without a doubt. You agree with that?
For
Black
sure.
culture plus social media equals $1 billion platform.
For sure.
Okay, so then if you have the opportunity to own the infrastructure of social media that you know that Black culture can power and make popular, then why not take the advantage of doing so? Which is why we did equity crowdfunding. We have over 23,000 investors in Fanbase, but the point that I'm making is it's to distribute wealth amongst Black people. This is not about individual success. I want thousands and thousands of millionaires and multimillionaires. That's the only way we're going to escape the wealth gap. We're not going to escape the wealth gap by the 1 or 2 or 10 Black billionaires we have, looking at them as some sort of inspiration that we can make it to. It ain't going to cut it.
Yeah.
We have to be investing in corporations and companies collectively together. Like I said, let's get 20,000 Black women and invest in a Black-owned beauty supply company and scale that up to 5, 10, 15, however many. I think Ulta's worth $29 billion. Exit that company and then go build another one.
And to your point, I just want to say this. You and I have talked back and forth about this.
Mm-hmm.
In the news business, we have this thing. We talk on a 7-year-old level because we need everybody to understand what we're saying. When we talk, a lot of times when we talk to our people about wealth building, it goes over their head because not that they are 7-year-olds. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that people need to know what impacts them right now. So that's the level we speak on in news. How is this impacting my children? This is how this is impacting you. And so I want you to be clear. These social media platforms are deprioritizing you. So the business that you're trying to start on the IGs and the TikToks and the YouTubes, you see yourself being shadow banned. You see that your reels are not getting the reach of your own fan base. You're not reaching, they are not prioritizing you. You know that when you reach out to these brands that you're getting paid 25 to 35% less from brands than your white counterparts. So this is how this impacts you right now, young woman, young man who is trying to start a business, who is trying to go viral. Your voice is being silenced. And you're knocking on their door and they're not letting you in or they're giving you crumbs. And so you're going to keep knocking when you have a platform here that's going to give you a share. They're going to promote your product, your service. It's right here. That's the urge. These people need to know that sometimes when we talk about stocks and we talk about investing, whatever it is, it goes over our head. This is how it's impacting you right now. This is how it's impacting your goals right now. This is what I'm saying. That's why it's important to go over to Fanbase.
So I am going to plug the raise right now, though. You can go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock, and Fanbase is $665 a share. An interesting stat that I know is we have about 23,000 investors, and we've raised about $23 million. So the average investment that people invest in Fanbase is $1,000. If 4,100 people invested $1,000 in Fanbase, whenever they see this, the raise would close. Our raise would be over. We would have the capital that we need to continue to scale and work on continue to build a platform that anybody can use. But I think that we have to start being unapologetic about building things that can be owned and built by Black people for everyone. Fan base is not built
Absolutely.
for exclusively Black people, but at least you know that in this environment, someone is going to let your voice be heard. Someone's going to let your stories be told. We're not even focused on advertising at this very moment because advertising dictates what they want to see. If I don't want my content, my commercial being shown around a bunch of content around police brutality and things that are going on overseas, they're going to suppress that content. I need to run this Chick-fil-A ad. I need to turn down the LGBTQ so I can get these Chick-fil-A ads out. Or I need to turn down all these things that we have. And so I think that is the importance of why I felt it was urgent. I would not have built this if I was not Black. There would be no reason to.
No reason.
There'd be no reason to be. If I was just a white dude, there would be no reason to build this. And secondly, I wouldn't have built fan base if I didn't know that the value of the actual infrastructure could reach hundreds of billions of dollars. Because then it's not about my success. It's about the people that are investing in the company that can scale it up and the people that can use it to monetize making revenue. Facebook has a market cap of $1.9 trillion. Instagram, separated from Meta, is a $400 billion company. ByteDance, which is TikTok's parent company, is a $400 billion. $400 billion? And Black people are powering these things. So, and nobody Black own a piece of $400 billion? That's crazy to me.
Insane.
That's crazy.
It's insanity. That's why it's important. Bring the content over to fan base and then, but again, the people have to be there. We have to get the people there. We have to get the eyes there, get to fan base, download it, because that's when the creators are going to come.
Oh, we have to have this conversation real quick because.
Wait a minute. Do you want to know the Black woman lead before we lose it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Before we lose that thread.
Yeah.
So in 3 hours, they raised $1.5 million, which was the head of the $81 million that VP Harris would subsequently raise.
Wow. In 3 hours.
3 hours.
You watch the numbers.
Right.
Just watching the numbers.
So another challenge that I have, because I'm a startup, a lot of times people say, fan base doesn't do this. Fan base doesn't have this. It doesn't have carousels right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have dark mode right now.
Yeah.
And I always say it's not anybody else's fault. I'm the one that decided to build a social media platform.
Yeah.
So the ceiling to most of these platforms is our floor. Yeah. We have to start where they are at their peak. And that's harder. And it takes money to do those types of things. Yeah. It takes money to build an enormous sticky recommendation engine algorithm that keeps you locked in. And so a lot of times people are like, yeah, but it doesn't have that. And a lot of times in our community, if it doesn't have the things that we want to take, we want to leave, we want to come back. But I still want to go to the fact that in 4 months, we were able to take Clubhouse to $1 billion valuation in 4 months. And they raised $100 million. In 60 days, we were able to make Blue Sky worth $700 million. Yeah. In the TikTok ban, everybody went and downloaded Red Note. All those downloads, all that attention. Yeah. Nobody's talking about Red Note right now. It's in Mandarin.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Red Note. It's gone. The whole Black community said, we're downloading Red Note. Yeah. And then TikTok came back on. It was like, all right, boom, we gone or whatever. And I'm like, yo, that's the part that I think is extremely urgent, is like, yo, we have the fan base at that time with the brief 12 hours that TikTok was down. We got to like number 4 on the social media. Yeah. On social media charts on Apple, and I think number 12 overall on the App Store. And that was a moment and I said, if we could keep that up for 30 days, 60 days, first of all, it would be the biggest story in America.
For sure.
It will be the number 1 story because Asian apps always are number 1. Yeah. White apps are always number 1. We've never had a Black founded social media platform sit at the top of an app store, garner all the attention of the media, including Black media and white media. Yeah. And then on top of that, this is what venture capital does. They look for platforms that have large volumes of users that they can invest in and help scale, because they know once you got the people, it's just math at that point.
I'm going to just say this real quick, Isaac. That's not, and as you know, that's not exclusive to you. when it comes to us going to a platform or going into a store or going into a business that's Black owned and saying, but they don't have this and it's just not as convenient as that. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for our own agenda. We don't have time for our own, oh, well, I kind of like this. Nothing's funny right now. Right now we have to go into this space as just like they say back in the day, as a people. No, we really have to be as a people right now. Nothing's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is a joke. What's happening right now is going to impact us more than it's going to impact anybody else. So yeah, when you go into the stores, it may not be as convenient. You may not be able to have the red, twirly, shiny star. No, we'll get to that. Right now, we have an agenda. The agenda is to get on fan base. The agenda is to have our own platform, our own media right now. That's the agenda. And then we'll get to the red, shiny things in the yay later. Right now, there is this is the call to action for us and for the media, the talent, the Black talent and brown talent. That's what we have to do right now.
When that happened, when the TikTok ban happened, one of my peers that I know that has a Black social media platform posted about Red Note. And I literally had to call him. I called him on the phone and said, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Talk about fan base."
Yeah.
Like I had to call him and say, "If you don't post about fan base, why are you talking about Red Note?
Yeah.
What is Red Note doing for you?" And that was the thing that I said about Black media. I said Black media primarily just repeats white media and pop culture stories. So if they talk about Red Note, we're going to talk about Red Note. If they talk about Lemonade, we're going to talk about Lemonade. We're not telling our stories and the ability to lift up that. So there's no conversation about everybody hates Tesla and Tesla's stock price is tanking. Or why are we not talking about Derek Bailey, the one Black EV maker that I know who can make electric vehicles? And I don't even care if they're not as good as Tesla. Let's invest in them and get them as good as Tesla.
It reminds me, just real quick, it reminds me of what, when we look back in the day and are like, oh, when Black people would go into like restaurants and whites only and say, oh, if that was me back in the day, I would have done this or I wouldn't have done that or I couldn't have been enslaved. Whatever you're doing right now is what you would have done back in the day. So if you're doing nothing right now about that pushes us forward, that's what you would have done back then. So don't talk about what you would not have done, what you would have not stood for. The very least that you can do is download fan base. That's your civil rights action right now. Download fan base. If you can't get out and get in front of a camera, or if you can't get out and march or whatever it is, here's what you can do. When people say, what can I do? What do I do? Let us handle that. Download fan base. That's what you can do. Let that be your mark.